After my second divorce, I didn't date for almost 6 years. My kids were 14, 9, and 4 when I got divorced, and I was in total mom mode, working, trying to survive, raising kids alone with no child support coming in after a few years. Dating wasn't even close to being on my radar. When I finally started dating again, I was hopeful. I had never done online dating before, so I went into it excited, open, positive attitude because I wanted it to work so that I could meet somebody and find love. I dated off and on for years. The first guy I met, we were together about 5 months. Then I was in a 2 year relationship and even a 3 year relationship. And if you've been listening for a little while, you know that that 3 year relationship ended when I was ghosted. In between all of those, I took breaks. I worked on myself, and then I put myself out there again. Once I met someone online who seemed like exactly the kind of guy I was looking for. He was warm, he was attentive, he said all the right things, and within a few weeks, he was calling me his soulmate. I lost $500 to that man. And I want to tell you exactly how it happened because I was not naive. I was not careless. I was a smart woman who ignored her gut because she wanted to believe. And if this story stops even one of you from getting or going through the same thing, it's worth telling. Here's what the scam looked like from the inside. He showed up in my life online. Charming, consistent, great communicator. He made me feel seen in a way that I had not felt in a long time. He was telling me everything I wanted to hear. And I knew it felt almost too good. My head was telling me that, and in my gut too. But I told myself that I was just not trusting because of how my last relationship had ended. He never wanted to talk on the phone or do a video chat. Now, this was about 8 years ago, so it wasn't the way things are now where you can chat inside of the apps. But we had Skype and we even had Zoom since I was using both of those for my business. But there was always a reason. There was a bad signal, a bad connection, he was traveling, his camera wasn't working. I paid attention to what he was saying and filed it away in my brain, but I didn't act on it. He texted me about his life, sending me pictures of him and even his daughter. And yes, the pictures of him matched the ones on his profile. We had very lengthy texting conversations. He was open about his family, but a little vague about some other details of his life, but nothing that completely alarmed me enough to stop. And then one day he said he was going to come here and visit. But a few days later, there was an emergency. Something came up and he needed help. Just this once. Now, I want to pause here and be honest with you. It was $500. And I know that that's not a lot compared to some women because there are a lot of women who have lost tens of thousands of dollars to these scams. Their pain is real and it is absolutely devastating and embarrassing, which I completely understand. But at the time, I was living paycheck to paycheck, 3 kids, no child support. And I only had that $500 because I had just opened a new credit card. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had it. For where I was in my life, it was a lot. And more than the money, what it cost me in self trust and the shame that I felt took a lot longer to get back. As a matter of fact, I didn't tell anybody about this for years. He wanted it in gift cards, $50 and $100 increments, which should have been another red flag. But if you know me at all, you know that should is one of my least favorite words. So I stopped beating myself all about this a long time ago. Well, I went to the CVS by my work to get the gift cards. When I went to the register, the cashier looked straight at me and asked me, "Are you sure you want them like this?" Meaning in the increments that they were in. Now, let me remind you that this was before there were warnings and signs on the gift card racks and by the cash registers. But my gut knew exactly why she was asking. I felt it. I questioned myself standing right there at that register. And I bought them anyway because he seemed like a great guy, because he had been saying all the right things. And I wanted to believe him because I wanted it to be real. Of course, the moment I knew for certain that it wasn't was when he said he wasn't coming to visit. After everything, after all of it, he wasn't coming. And just like that, the story I'd been telling myself fell apart. Now, I want you to hear some numbers because this is not a small problem and it is not just happening to people who aren't paying attention. According to the FBI, romance scams are one of the costliest forms of online fraud in the United States. The most recent statistics that I found were that in 2023, Americans lost over $650 million to romance scams. And that number only reflects what was reported. So I'm guessing it's even higher now. And like I said, reported, because a lot of people don't report because of the embarrassment and their shame. The Federal Trade Commission reports that people over 50 lose more money to romance scams than any other age group. And the median loss for people over 70 is over $9,000. And here's the one that stopped me. The majority of victims describe the relationship as feeling completely real because the manipulation is that precise. These are not random attacks. These are targeted, studied, calculated performances designed to find the exact emotional door that opens for you specifically. For me, it was a loving, attentive man who made me feel like I finally mattered to somebody after years of doing everything by myself. They found the door and I opened it. I really can't believe I'm sharing this publicly, but like I said, if I can just help one person, it's worth it. So let's talk about what to watch for. These are 5 safety and integrity red flags that are important for you to take seriously. And I want to give you something concrete that you can use. So, number 1, he won't meet on video, not ever. And there's always a reason, right? I don't care how good the reason sounds. A man who is genuinely interested in you and has nothing to hide will find a way to get on video with you. This is a non-negotiable nowadays, especially if you have any concerns. Before you meet anyone in person, video chat, period. It's 2026 and there's no excuse. Number 2, he's vague or inconsistent about his life, where he lives, what he does, basic details that change or don't quite add up. Real people have consistent lives that can be verified. So if he keeps his story moving around, you should move too. Number 3, money comes up early. It might start small, an emergency, a business deal that just needs little help, a temporary thing he'll pay back. Hear me loud and clear. It isn't temporary and it will escalate. A man who genuinely likes you doesn't come to you with financial problems before you've even met. Number 4, when he pushes physical intimacy faster than you want or faster than that trust has been built. Intensity that moves faster than the actual relationship is a tactic. Real intimacy takes time and it takes safety. Anyone rushing it is working towards something. Now, I'm not saying that sex in the very early stages of getting to know someone is bad or anything like that. Absolutely zero judgment. It's not like I've never done it before. But for most women, sex comes with emotion. And if what you're looking for is a long-term relationship, waiting is usually better. And yes, there are always exceptions to the rule. No matter what, though, if you are not ready and he's pushing, that is a hard no. And the last one for today, number 5, when he says you're overthinking it or you don't know what you're talking about, every time you raise a concern about anything, this is really important because when you raise a concern and his response is to make you feel foolish for having it, That's not reassurance, it's manipulation. A man with nothing to hide addresses your concerns. He doesn't say you're crazy or flippantly dismiss them. I want to leave you with a simple checklist that you can use before meeting anybody that you've met online. First, have you video chatted at least once, whether it's in the dating app or on Zoom or FaceTime? Two, have you done a reverse image search on his photos? You can do this for free on Google. Just drag his photo into the search bar. Scammers use stolen images, and I know this firsthand because years ago, someone actually took my picture off of my Facebook page, walked into my bank in another state, and drained my accounts. No, I don't bank with them anymore. And yes, I got my money back, but it was a pain in the ass and it took weeks. So it does happen. And you can easily do a reverse image search. So do it. Third, does his story stay consistent over time? Same job, same city, same basic details. Four, has he asked you for anything? Money, gift cards, wire transfers, financial favors of any kind. I know that might sound extreme, but it's not. You heard the statistics earlier in the video. And last, do you feel like you can ask him a direct question and get a direct answer? Or do you always feel slightly off balance? These are all really important, and none are more or less important than the others. But I want you to pay attention to that last one because your nervous system is collecting information even when your brain is trying to be optimistic. If something consistently feels slightly off, trust that feeling because it's data. And here's what I really want you to hear. I was not stupid. I was hopeful. And there's a difference. And if this has happened to you, I'm really sorry that it happened. And I'm telling you the same exact thing I've told myself. You weren't being stupid. You were being hopeful. I had spent years alone, working hard, raising my kids, and doing everything on my own. When someone showed up, filled that void, and made me feel like I had somebody in my corner, yes, even though we had not met. Apparently, I wanted it to be real so badly that I overrode my head and my gut. That cashier at CVS looked at me and gave me a chance to stop. She gave me an out, and my gut knew. And I still walked out of that store with those gift cards. The shame of that moment kept me quiet for a really long time. I'm done being quiet about it because if I had heard another woman tell this story before it happened to me, I might have listened to that cashier. Protecting yourself is not suspicion and skepticism. It is not a wall. It is not being damaged or bitter or closed off. It is self-respect. It is wisdom. And self-respect and wisdom are what every woman who has worked as hard as you absolutely deserves to carry into her next relationship. Believe it or not, in the last 6 weeks, I've talked about 30 red flags, 30 things that I want you to pay attention to and know before you give your heart to somebody new. Next month, we're going to flip the script and start talking about green flags. We're going to talk about what real love actually looks like, what it feels like, and what a genuinely good man does consistently, not just on good days. Because that's the whole point of my work. It's not to make you afraid, it's to make you ready. And yes, there are a lot of good men out there. If this video helped you, please subscribe because we're just getting started. Every week on this channel, we talk about real love and real growth and what it actually means to create the relationship that you deserve because your best relationship starts with you. And drop a comment below. Have you ever ignored one of the red flags I talked about today? I'll see you next time.